Good afternoon, dear students. I welcome you all to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University Teleconference program. The topic for today's discussion is approaches and methods. This is meant for B.Ed second year pedagogy of English students. To throw more light on this, to discuss about this topic, we have experts arrived into the studio. Let me introduce to you all. So, to my left, right, Dr. Diana Madam. She is Associate Professor, St. Anne's College of Education, Secunderabad, Hyderabad, Telangana, India. And to farthest, Madam Dr. Katyayani, Associate Professor, Neelam Sanjeev Reddy, College of Education, Koti, Jambagh, Hyderabad, Telangana, India. Okay, so dear students, I already mentioned about the topic methods and approaches. This topic is taken from Pedagogy of English Block 3 and Unit number 9. You may get a question from this block definitely. Either it could be a short type or an essay type. So here is a something for the students to ask and discuss on this topic. So what you can do, you can make a call to us. Please write on the number 040-23680-456. You can make a call to us, and if you have any thing to discuss with us, you can discuss with us. So shall we go into the discussion? So just recall a classroom. Just recall an English classroom. Okay, the teacher before explains, decides to take up a lesson, she divides the lesson into 2-3 parts. Then she chooses appropriate way to explain the story, then present the new vocabulary, and then give a production and then practice. Then use the substitution table, include all these things in a lesson plan, and then she enters into the classroom. Okay, then comes the recapitulation. So all these things are done, made, written in a lesson plan by following a method. Method has some relevance to approaches. So this is what we are going to learn in today's class, in this discussion. Okay, so if you are getting still, because I mentioned that you may get a question on this, still you are thinking how to understand method and approach, let me ask a question, like what is a method and what is an approach. So ma'am, Katyayani madam, could you please tell us what is a method and approach?
Yes, madam. So as you rightly said that when the teacher enters the classroom, teacher goes to the classroom very well prepared. So method gives us the information how to teach. So it is rather the procedural. So method is rather an overall plan for the orderly presentation of language material. So it deals with the sequence of steps, techniques to be used in the classroom. Whereas approach is a set of correlative principles and assumptions dealing with the language teaching. So in what to teach, approach decides what to be taught. So when the experts design the syllabus, they take into consideration of sociolinguistics and psycholinguistics. What is sociolinguistics? What kind of language is used in the society presently? So we cannot teach the students 18th century English. We have to teach them what kind of language, English language is required to survive in the present society. So experts consider the sociolinguistics part, and then they also understand psycholinguistics gives the information about how students understand language. So various techniques, strategies are given. So accordingly experts decide what should be there in the syllabus. So an approach is a set of correlative principles and assumptions dealing with the language teaching and deciding what should be there in the syllabus. So like structural approach decides what structure should be there in the syllabus, and communicative approach decides that various communicative activities should be there in the syllabus. So it goes on like that. Now Dr. Diana madam would be explaining about
ma'am.
this further. Yeah.
Nice, ma'am. And you will be understanding more about approach and also about the method in the coming discussions. Okay, so like there are certain methods which are mentioned in the study material of B.Ed second year students. Okay, so could you please list out them, Diana madam?
Yeah, surely. A method, as Katyayani madam has said, it is a very procedural plan to teach English language. There are 4 to be mentioned which have been prescribed for your study. The first one is grammar translation method. If you go through grammar translation method, the historical background is during the 18th and 19th century, it was before the Latin and Greek could be taken up, it was after
First, you
after
list out.
yeah,
then
first I will
we
list
can
out.
go into the
Yeah, surely.
historical background.
Right. So the 4 things which have been prescribed for your study is grammar translation method, direct method, bilingual method, and Dr. West reading method.
Yes, these are the 4 methods prescribed in our study materials. Okay, so 4 have some origin and relevance connection to different approaches that we in detail explain from this platform. Okay, grammar translation method, though it looks but still NEP 2020, it has some what you call relevance in day-to-day activities. And ma'am, could you please tell us what is the historical background of grammar translation method?
Yeah, surely. Now this grammar translation method, it was established in the traditional method used to teach classical Latin and ancient Greek. But after that, as it was progressing, it was in the modern languages which have evolved, that is French, English and German. Now when these 3 languages have taken a center stage, Latin and Greek had to take a backstage of it. And slowly it was because of that people started learning the 3 languages, French, English and German. Now how did they learn this? It was through grammar translation method. Every word was translated into French or English. Every vocabulary was translated. So over a period of time, more emphasis was laid on the grammar as well as the rules of grammar. But it was not very beneficial because it had to be dealt with in large classes. But it also had its own merit, like it improved reading as well as the writing skills. But when we check on to see the demerits, it neglected the very two important aspects of the language skills, that is speaking and listening. Because it had laid more emphasis on reading and writing, less emphasis was laid on speaking and listening. And also, as you only read and write, it made learning very, very mechanical. And students, they were not very comfortable to communicate in the English language very effectively. So therefore, we found that slowly the grammar translation method had moved out and the direct method had come in. Now direct method, this method, it was developed by this method, it was actually very prominent during the 19th century. He had talked about the person who had developed this, the linguist who had developed it. He had said that a target language should be targeted in the target language itself. Nobody can use the mother tongue to make use of the target language. That was his stand for the direct method. It created, now when you teach English in English language, it created a sort of interest in the students, and the students had actively participated in it. And it also had encouraged students to think in English, because if you are going to use any other language or mother tongue, there is a sort of confusion in the thought as well as in the expression. So direct method was something which also had given its scope to develop fluency in speech. But as there are merits, there are also demerits for it. The first one is because there were many students in the classroom, it was very difficult for the teachers to handle the direct method. The second one was, if a teacher had to talk in English and teach in English, she should be well trained. And during those times, it was very difficult to get trained teachers. And it was not suitable for all the students to learn the language in their comfort zone. Now, at that point of time, the bilingual method had come into existence. Now, in this bilingual method, it established itself in the 1960s. And one Mr. C.J. Dodson, who was a linguist, he had developed this method, and he had combined both the methods, that is the direct method and the grammar translation method, the main features, into the bilingual method. As the word says, bilingual, bilingual is two languages which were used to teach English language. Both the mother tongue as well as the English language were used. And the teacher, she explained difficult words in the mother tongue. It was not very difficult for the teacher because she knew the mother tongue and she only had to translate it. If you try to recollect, in school when we were learning first language and second language at the lower levels, for example, house. House was taught in, the word house was taught in the mother tongue as illu, or in Hindi it was ghar. So ghar is equals to house, or illu is equals to house. So there was the word to word translation in the bilingual method, and it was mainly but the practice was mainly in the English language. Now of course we find the merits also for it and the demerits. Now merits is the teacher, the classroom was very active, but the problem was in bilingual method, not many teachers were very accustomed to using it, because the English language was supposed to be practiced in the schools, and if the teacher was using more of mother tongue, then there was no use of using English in the classroom. And the students, they also depended on translation. They did not take the interest of learning the words in the direct method or through the direct method, the English words. So that was one of the demerits, as well as the teachers had to use very judiciously the mother tongue, because if the teacher is going to use too much of mother tongue, there is no use of English to be taught in the English classrooms. But definitely the merits are that it saved time while they were explaining meaning, and it reduces fear among the learners. See, in the direct method, if a word to word is given in an English, from English language to another, not another language, in another word in the English language, we find that students were overcome with fear. But when the bilingual method was used, that comfort was created in the classroom, and it was very apt in the Indian classrooms. The bilingual method had actually started in schools where English was taught as a second language, not in the first language. So there was that sort of a comfortable zone. But not many good things happened during the bilingual method. Then we had Dr. West's reading method. Dr. Michael West, he had created or he had developed the Dr. West reading method. So we find, from the grammar translation method, it had come to the direct method. From the direct method, it had come to the bilingual method. Then Dr. West said, this is not going to work out. Let us try the reading method. Now, as the word suggests, reading method, English language usually begins, the acquisition begins with listening, speaking, reading and writing. But Dr. West said reading should be given prime importance. So he had given reading, writing and then speaking. So we find that it was more apt in the classrooms. But it does, I would like to ask a question, Madam, to you, that
Yes.
is a silent reading really apt for students to develop the reading skill?
No.
It doesn't happen, yeah. So only if you read aloud can you develop the skill of reading. Now I have the textbook with me, class 8, The Tattered Blanket. I will just read one paragraph for you, reading aloud. I want you to just listen to me and tell me whether you have understood the difficult words in this paragraph. When he arrived unexpectedly at his home in the countryside in his office car and got down at the gate, his mother, who was lying in an armchair on the veranda, made a futile attempt to get up. So there are few difficult words in this paragraph. When you read it silently, also you will not be able to understand the difficult words. Like for example, unexpectedly, futile, countryside. These are some difficult words. So this Dr. West reading method, it had neglected on speaking and listening skills. So it didn't work out. The communication ability also, it weakened in the students, and less attention was given to pronunciation. When you do reading aloud, you can develop the skill of pronouncing words correctly. But in silent reading, this skill paid less attention, and it was not suitable when spoken English was the main objective of teaching English. So we found that the Dr. West reading method also did not work. But I would like to redirect myself to the direct method. Now in the direct method, as I was telling you, that target language is to be taught in the target language. Example, if you are going to teach English, you have to teach through English. Now one of the approaches which Katyayani madam would relate after me is the structural approach. You all know that English structure is subject plus verb plus object. You have similar sentences, similar structures in it, subject plus verb plus object, subject plus verb plus indirect object plus direct object. So you have many patterns in that manner where you are teaching English through the direct method. So the structural approach, the direct method, and if you are going to teach it in an English classroom, you are going to make use of structures as well as situations. So through this triangle of direct method, structures and the structural approach and the situations, you can teach or you can learn English language better. I think Katyayani madam, you can develop more on the structural approach.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, Diana Garu. So we have given students, if you look into our study material, self-instructional material, you will find in the third block and unit number 9 the methods and approaches. So altogether all the methods were first discussed. So that is why we made it a point to discuss the 4 different methods and then reach to approaches. then in between make some connections for you all to understand it in a better way. So just like madam said, in a triangular manner, like triangular way, like what you call structures are their direct method and structural approach. Okay, situations, by creating situations. Okay, so in this way there are certain approaches that give direct relation to some methods. Okay, so those things we will discuss, we will hear and we will learn from Dr. Katyayani Garu. Madam, please tell us something about situational approach and how it is different from communicative approach.
Yeah. So, students, so as madam rightly said that we can use direct method when we are using structural approach. In fact, structural approach is also said as SOS. What is SOS? So that SOS is the abbreviation. Full form is structural approach, oral approach and situational approach. So all these three are used simultaneously. Now structures were selected when already I mentioned that experts decide based upon the sociolinguistics and psycholinguistics what should be there in the syllabus. So around 50s and 60s, at that time they thought, okay, if we give the structures, that is enough for the students to improve their language. So structures were selected, graded and presented, and oral skills are given importance in this approach. So, and situations, how are situations created? Situations are created to teach grammar and vocabulary, and here while teaching also oral skills are given lot of importance. Now when we are presenting vocabulary or grammar, we can use like pictures or videos or any kind of gestures, actions, activities. Now let me show you, suppose I want to take out, you are teaching phrasal verb take out. So what will you do? So you will show this, I am taking out an apple from the bag. Okay, so suppose you are teaching tenses, then I am eating an apple. Okay, you can mention like that and you can demonstrate, that is demonstration. So madam, can you write something? Diana madam?
Yeah, can I have a pen please?
So now what is she doing? Dr. Diana writes notes, or Dr. Diana is writing notes. So like that you can make the students do some activity in the classroom. So they can understand very easily. And so this is called presentation. So we are presenting the grammar or vocabulary through situations. You can even show a picture what students are doing and then ask questions. And then or you make the students also suppose get up. So what am I doing? I am getting up. Okay. Then open the book. So open, I am opening the book, turn the pages. So like that you make the students in the classroom some activity. Based on that activity you can make them understand very easily. And you can even show videos, and then in the video whatever the people are doing, based on that you can frame sentences and explain. So that is how we create situations. This is called situational approach. So we are presenting like this using various pictures, gestures, actions, activity. Then next we give practice. So we can give practice using substitution tables, call words, matching tables, etc. And let me show you substitution table. Suppose we are teaching active voice, passive voice. Just now I said that I eat an apple. Okay. And Dr. Diana writes notes. So if we convert that, then notes is written by Dr. Diana. So an apple is eaten by me. Okay, or she is writing notes. Notes is being written by me. So you can use these substitution tables in the classroom. Now what is substitution table? So any word, any subject can be substituted with another word here, and in the same way any verb can be substituted with another one, and object also. So direct object, indirect object, you can use both, and that is called substitution table. And matching table is you write words and the students match words. And then call words, simply you give the content words, the main words, okay, which give information, and using those students make sentences. Or jumbled words, you jumble the word order and then students reframe the sentence. That is how you can give practice. Then you encourage the students to give examples. So, and you are giving importance to oral skills, how they repeat. So here we are using direct method. So around that time, in fact, direct method, when direct method was used, it was also called like audiolingual method. And then, so that means language was given and a lot of oral activity was also given importance. So this is how we taught whenever we were using structural approach. Then later people thought that just if students know language, that is not enough. Students need to know other also other what do we mean by others, like strategic competence. Linguistic competence means simply language. So if students know language, just grammar, that is not enough. They should know how to speak, when to speak, how to initiate the conversation. So all these competences also need to be learnt. So this was rather developed in 1980s. So many people worked on this, like some to be mentioned, Moblie, N.S.R from India. So in this approach, we try to have real life situations or simulate the situations. So it is, the communicative approach is learner centered and function based. Task, we give tasks to the students, and when students perform the tasks, they learn the language. And this is helping the students to develop fluency, because language is learned through communication, and students learn how to use the language accurately. So, and all these language skills are developed through this communicative approach. So like we can have activities like opening a bank account or introducing people. Just now Madam Mary Sunanda Madam has introduced us. So you learned how to introduce people, and you go to the headmaster and ask for permission. How to ask for permission? And then whenever you open, how to enter the room, and then how to start the conversation. So all these are called strategies. So and we have tasks like you show the students a map, like Hyderabad map can be shown. How far is Katyayani from Mallapur, or what is the distance? So you can show the map and then develop the language skills of the students. So these are various tasks. So what are we developing here? In 1980, Kennel and Swain has mentioned that communicative approach improves 4 dimensions of communicative competence. So grammatical competence is linguistic competence. So already in structural approach, we are trying to develop the linguistic competence. So what else, what extra are we developing when we make the students do the role plays or any kind of simulated real life activities? So we are developing how to use, we are creating the social context and how to use that language. So understanding, so completed, suppose somebody says completed. So what is the meaning of completed? So that context should be there. Have you completed your homework? Teacher is asking, completed? Have you completed your homework? Or have you completed whatever decoration work is done in the classroom? So it depends. So you can interpret. This is called discourse competence. If you know the discourse competence, then you can interpret better. Then strategic competence. using strategic communication is when you enter the HM's room for permission, how to initiate, how to start the conversation, or even in the group discussions also, how to you try to want to mention another point, how to initiate your point, how to intervene in between the conversation. And so while coming back, while closing the conversation, so how do you close the conversation after you get the permission and you are coming out from the HM's room? How do you close the conversation? So all these are called strategic competence. Now, so here we are developing all the language skills, fine. But here rather learner is still, it is teacher oriented. Teacher is planning all the activities and all. So people thought that later on, no? So all the experts started thinking that students need to be active learners. When students are active learners, then when they interact with one another, they learn better. So then constructivist approach has come into focus. So constructivist approach and cooperative approach, they go hand in hand. Now let us first discuss about what is constructivist approach. So Piaget, all of you must have studied in psychology, in your psychology. He talked about various developments in the human life. So while developing...
1 second, madam.
Yes, madam.
Dear students, we are now discussing at length about the approaches of teaching English language. In the beginning, I suggested you to make a call to us if you have any doubt, if you want to discuss with us, you can make a call to this number 040-23680-456 and clarify your doubt. Madam, please continue.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. So you can see here, so Piaget talked about how a child develops language, and Vygotsky so further explained how children learn language. So here we talk about ZPD, zone of proximal development. So what is zone of proximal development? So initially, suppose you are reading the lesson. A student is reading the lesson and a student can understand only like 40% or 50%. But when the student interacts with the peer group or when interacts with the teacher, so that means whoever is close by, more known persons. So when the student interacts with others who know better, then who are more capable, who knows more language, better language, and then student understands better. So his comprehension goes from 40% to 70% or 80%. And we have technology and tools nowadays. All of you are immediately Google, you type whatever information you need, you type and then you get information. So technology and tools are also like helping you, zone of proximal development. So that is technology helping you as another person. So you are interacting with the technology and learning the subject. In the classroom, student discusses with peer group and understands. So your level of comprehension is increasing because of that. So this is called zone of proximal development. And here teacher is playing a role. Teacher is a facilitator, facilitating peer group interaction. And also teacher is also helping, going around the classroom and then explaining now and then. So potential development level, the child is reaching probably 100%. So scaffolding, what is scaffolding? Teacher is supporting the students with some questions or some explanation, giving meanings. So what is happening here? Students are interacting and then trying to understand better. Now what is cooperative approach? So students sit in groups and discuss with one another. They cooperate with one another. They collaborate. Collaboration, what is collaboration? We hear collaboration of companies. That means this company has some knowledge and that another company has some knowledge. Together they put up and they make better profits. So in the same way, even in the classroom also, one student knows the meaning of some words, another student knows the meaning of the phrase. So when they cooperate and discuss, so this collaboration is working and yielding better results. And very important point here is they are all active learners, they are involved. Now when teacher is like in direct method or grammar translation bilingual, so teacher is rather active participant. Whereas here students, unless the student is active, student cannot learn. Student has to read the lesson, student has to understand, then only student can learn. So here, and while they interact with one another, what is happening? They are interacting with one another and learning. So team skills are developed, team spirit is being developed. So life skills are being developed, how to interact with others, how to request, how to get information, how to thank. So many skills are being developed here, and they own the responsibility to learn and improve language skills. Now, how are we using these approaches in our ELT classrooms? So let me take one example here. So I am taking 9th class textbook here. So in this textbook we have travel and tourism. This is which unit is this? 8th unit, okay, the last unit. Probably you must have taught recently. Now when we use this travel and tourism, all of you know that we teach face sheet first. So every unit is based on one theme, and we are talking about travel and tourism. So all of you know the steps here. So you introduce the topic travel and tourism using pictures. You can show even the pictures of the, you can show pictures which are given in the textbook.
Open the book.
And or you can even take some more extra pictures also. And so introducing the topic, then you make the students into groups and you make them discuss about travel and tourism. So before making them discuss, you interact with the students. We call that step as interactive questions, and there you are asking the students, so where do you go, which are your favorite places, what is special about this place. So here you are asking the students questions related to travel and tourism, and so you write points also on the blackboard. So what are the advantages of visiting these places, and what are the advantages to a person individually and to the society, to the government also. Government also makes a lot of money, and in turn it spends on the public again. So travel and tourism is very important to learn about places and to learn about new languages and about the cultures of and various types of foods. So that is how you teach face sheet. And after interactive questions, you make the students sit in groups and discuss about the advantages and disadvantages. And then you can ask the students to present about the advantages and disadvantages of travel and tourism. Or you can also ask them to come and talk about the favorite place. So the place they would like to visit and why they like that place. So what are we developing here? So they are using English, and we are using communicative approach also, and they are discussing in group. So we are using cooperative approach, and they are constructing knowledge. They are discussing with one another, and then they, if required, they discuss. They even Google and get information about those places. So they are learning language. Their knowledge is constructed by the students. So constructivist approach, students construct knowledge on their own and with the help of others. So here we are making the student construct knowledge based on this theme, in this situation on travel and tourism. Then we are encouraging them to come and present. So when they are presenting, they are developing their communication skills, and in the process they develop the confidence to speak, so that, which is very important. Now when we go to reading plan, so this is face sheet plan. How are we using this in face sheet plan? We have just understood about that. Now let us move on to reading plan. So in reading plan, so let me show you this picture, accidental tourist. I think all of you know the steps of accidental tourist, how to teach the reading plan. So you introduce the lesson, then give information about the author. So the author here is William McGill Bill Bryson. So you give information about him. Then you make the students sit in groups and then discuss. Before discussing, they read individually, okay, and teacher also can do model reading and then silent reading, and make the students read silently, then reading aloud, make the students read aloud. Then they can sit in groups, okay, they can sit in groups and then they read again. So what are the sequence of steps here? This we call as method, okay. So here first you can change the order also slightly depending upon your classroom situation. So initially, after introducing the author, then you can make the students read individually, then group discussion, then model reading, reading aloud. Or you do model reading, then reading aloud by students. So what is happening here, when teacher does the model reading, students listening skills are improving, their comprehension is also improving, and their vocabulary also improves. Teacher can help with the vocabulary also at that time. So students read aloud. Teachers listening, after listening to the teacher's model of reading, then students read again, and then you can make the students read individually, then discuss in groups. So they are trying to construct knowledge. So here we are giving importance to individual learning. So zone of proximal development. So the first step is student understands individually, then discusses with one another, zone of proximal development. So who know better, with the peer group or teacher interacts and tries to understand. So here what is happening, students try to understand, note down the points, then teacher can encourage the students to come and present. When teacher encourages them to come and you can even give that opportunity in rotation. So every group representative can come and present. And when they are presenting, you can observe how they are presenting, whether, and they develop the confidence to speak. And if students are missing any points, you can add those points. So this presentation part is very important, which gives confidence to the students. Then you can discuss whatever, again, comprehension questions, then you can recapitulation questions, then home assignment. Now after this we have discourse-oriented activities.
Pedagogy.
So discourse, yeah. So we have the steps, like first we have face sheet plan, then reading plan. So just now we have discussed about face sheet plan and reading plan. Now why discourse plan is very important. Discourse plan, what are we doing in discourse? Discourse is, in fact, even here also in face sheet also we are making the students discuss with one another and about travel and tourism and present. Even reading plan also, they read the paragraphs together and you are giving them an opportunity to present the information about the paragraph. Now discourse plan is, which is entirely focusing on communication skills, oral skills. So initially you make the students write about So we have at the end of the textbook, we have various discourse activities. All of you can see that. So like conversations and choreography, yeah, and at the end of the textbook we have conversations, descriptions, page number 179 here. Yeah, you can see here discourses are mentioned. You can select the discourse depending upon the information which is there in the lesson. In case it is a story, you make them do a skit, or if it is a poem, then you can make them do the choreography. If it is like floods or something, you can have conversations or debates. How can we avoid floods, etc. So now here for this lesson, accidental tourist. For travel and tourism, they have given one activity, discourse activity. Describe a place that you have visited recently. That can be done about in face sheet itself, when you teach face sheet plan. Whereas here in discourse plan, so you can have a small skit. Here in the accidental tourist, you have various accidents. So the passenger happened, he had undergone through. So you can one small group, and it is very important. I would like to mention here. In usually in the classroom also, the situation is like that. We have 2-3 students in one bench. So you can make only those 2-3 students in one group as one group, and then read the paragraphs. So in cooperative learning, if you have more students, then it becomes a problem. It is better to have less than 4 students. So ideally anyway, in our Indian situation, we have 3 students, so or 4 students. So you make them into one group, and then you can make them perform this. Suppose here how he he faces those accidents. Jeep on the back was jumped. So this is one paragraph, how he has faced that situation. So one group can perform that situation, and another group, soft drink. I knocked a soft drink onto the lap of a sweet little lady sitting beside me. Okay, you can make it is fun in the classroom also, and they understand, they can comprehend the lesson also better. So on another occasion, I knocked a soft drink onto the lap of a sweet little lady sitting beside me. One group performs a skit on this. So let each group take one accident and then perform the skit. So this is, and they write dialogues also. Or as a teacher, if the student's level is poor, then you can write those dialogues and help them, and then they perform the skit. So that is how you can make them. So in the process, they are enjoying learning, and they are performing. So while they are performing, they improve their language skills also. And in discourse plan, what you need to do is you observe how students are performing, how actively they are learning the language, how they are performing, their pronunciation, their articulation, then articulation of sounds, then sentences. So you observe all that and award marks. So in formative assessment, you need to award marks. So you can award more marks to those students who are performing better in discourse. So you can do like that. So what is happening here? Students are performing, students are understanding the lesson. All the points are very easily understood, and they are enjoying learning. They get the confidence to speak. It's all fun, Language, English language learning becomes fun when they perform these discourse-oriented activities. So you always, after completing every lesson, you make the students perform the discourse.
So, okay.
So cooperative learning, constructivist approach, all are being done here. Okay. Yes, madam. You
Yes.
would like to say something? Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am, for an elaborate and fantastic explanation on discourse-oriented pedagogy, starting from structural approach, communicative approach, and then oral and situational approaches. The way you spoke about face sheet discussion, plan, etc. is very fabulous, ma'am. Very
Thank
good
you.
explanation.
Thank-
And now, dear students, you have a chance to call us and then ask your questions. You may call to us by dialing this number 040-23680-456. Now, here we get the doubt, which method is best. Okay, in the present context, which method is best, and we are now implementing NAP 2020 also, and AI is also creeping into the education like anything. Most of us would like to use AI in our day-to-day academic activities. So, from this point of view, I would like to ask a question. Diana ma'am,
Yeah.
which method is best?
No, as you said, madam, according to NAP 2020, there is no such method which is supposed to be the best method. Grammar translation method, the bilingual method, the Dr. West reading method have become redundant because it is not taking, it is not a success in the Indian classrooms. The best method which can be used is the eclectic method, where the best features of each of these methods could be taken into consideration and English be taught in the classrooms. The eclectic method, that is eclectic, the meaning is a mixture of all. For example, if you take grammar translation method, maybe you can take some vocabulary and translate it and teach the rules of it to the students. That is one of the best features of the grammar translation method. If you are talking about the bilingual method, the best approach is minimal usage of the mother tongue. Here the English language is taught, but very minimum use of the mother tongue is used to make the concept clear to the student. Dr. West's reading method, that also has got its own merits. One of the merit is to develop the skill of reading in the students. Now, skill of reading aloud is different, but skill of reading silently is the main purpose of developing this method, the skill of reading silently. That method also, if you see, it is incorporated into the lesson plan. When you teach students or when you teach in a very systematic manner to the students, we find that silent reading is followed by reading aloud by the teacher. So, by using the Dr. West direct method, we find that silent reading approach or silent reading method is used for the students to read it silently and understand the words in the context. So, these three methods or these three features can be incorporated into the lesson plan and be taught in the classroom. So, that is one of the approaches or one of the best ways is through the eclectic approach. The teacher selects the techniques according to the learner's needs. Now, as you all know that a classroom is not with one type of student. There are different types. The classroom is a heterogeneous classroom where you have different levels of intelligence. So, you as a teacher should be able to identify which approach to teach, which method to make use of to make English language teaching effective. Now, when we do that, and as madam has said, you making use of the discourse methods or discourses prescribed by the SCRT, the teaching becomes more learner centered. The student centered is the correct way of teaching English, because in the olden days it was that the teacher was laying more emphasis and it was more teacher centered. Now there is a shift from the teacher centered methods to the learner centered method. So, what I feel is, madam, eclectic method is the best approach to teaching English language in the Indian classrooms.
Yes, ma'am. You're
I would
right.
like to add one point.
Yeah.
So we can make use of 3 C's. What are 3 C's? Communicative approach, then constructivist approach and cooperative approach. While using these approaches, we can use direct method. If the student's English level is good, then we can use direct method. And if the student's level is poor, then you can use bilingual method. Nowadays we are talking about multilingualism also. In case you have in your class, you have Marathi students, you have Kannada students, and you have Telugu students, Hindi students. So you allow them sometimes to answer in their language, but at the same time you need to again translate that into English so that they can repeat the answer in English. So and students can also compare their languages and they learn more languages. So here NEP 2020 says that we should not neglect our mother tongue also. So we are encouraging the native languages as well as English. So sometimes, just like bilingual method, if in case already students know the meaning in their mother tongue, so we are encashing that information, and instead of spending so much time on creating situations and all, we can simply give the meaning and student understands immediately. Then you move on to the English translation. So students can answer, you allow them to answer so that they get the confidence to speak. So while answering you can allow them, but again you repeat that answer in English, make the students also repeat in English so that they get the information in English also, improve their language skills. So that is how you can use bilingualism or multilingualism in the classroom.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your fantastic and fabulous explanation. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for coming into our studio. And of course, I would like to tell to my dear students that Dr. Diana Jacob and Dr. Katyayani Madam both are writers in our self-instructional material. Earlier also they participated in the teleconference, and today also they came to discuss at length from their vast experiences. Okay, so far now this is the time for me to give a recap what we have done in this in this class, in this teleconference program, dear students. And the topic for today's discussion is approaches and methods of teaching English language. Okay, this is meant for B.Ed regular distance mode education students, pedagogy of English. This is taken from block 3 and unit number 9. And to have more to make students to delve into the subject, we have not disturbed the methods and approaches. We have given separate slot to methods and also to approaches. Both of them have done the excellent job in discussing the methods and approaches. They have discussed at length about the definition, meaning of an method, approach, and different types of methods like grammar translation method, direct method, bilingual method, and Dr. West method, eclectic method. Here I would like to take a chance to ask you all, there is no particular method to teach English language. To this particular question you can answer in an eclectic way. Okay, so while answering your questions in the examinations, to fetch more marks, what you can do, you can draw the diagrams that are mentioned in the PPT, that are mentioned in the textbook to get the more marks. And apart from methods, we have discussed at length about the approaches also. They are like a structural approach, situational approach, communicative approach, collaborative approach, and there are certain approaches like constructivist approach, reciprocal, remedial, and reflective. And hope, dear students, you all have enjoyed listening to this teleconference program meant for B.Ed second year students, pedagogy of English, distance mode, and the topic is approaches and methods. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.